So, you accidentally bought a Switch 2. Yeah, so I'm a big Nintendo guy. Pretty much ever since I've been born. The Nintendo 64 was the first console I bought by myself. And the Nintendo console for each generation has always been one of my mainstays. Like when I was on PS2, still playing GameCube. Xbox 360, the Wii was right there. Even a few years ago, I'd swap between the PS4 and Xbox One and still play the Switch or the Wii U, depending on how early it was. And I was in Target at the beginning of August. I was putting money aside so that I could purchase a Switch 2 eventually. Target had one Switch 2 left over. So, I was going to wait until Legend ZA to purchase one because I thought there would be a unique special edition with ZA coming out. And I've been picking up special editions in recent years, like the Days of Play PS4 and the Spider-Man 2 PS5. But then it was revealed the special edition with ZA just had a download of the game, so no actual difference in the console. So I traveled home with a Switch 2 that day. This video should be pretty short, I'm just kind of telling you what my experience with the Switch 2 has been like. Unpackaging it was pretty fun. I'm a big proponent of keeping boxes even when they serve no purpose. They make great display items. Everything was in plastic sleeves, the cords included are nice, but they seem a little generic. They're definitely better than the cheap cords included with something you buy on Amazon though, and I love the power brick included with the Switch 2. It's even got the Nintendo logo on the side of it, and I'm a big fan of that. I still use the Wii U HDMI cord because it has the Nintendo logo on it, and it's longer than most HDMI cords that come packaged with things. 100% unironically, one of my favorite pieces of tech. The new grips that come with the Joy-Con 2s are really nice, and a massive upgrade over the grips that came with the first Switch. I actually almost messed up one of my friend's Joy-Cons because I put the grip on backwards and it was stuck on the controller for a little bit. Now they just clip on. Major upgrade. The Joy-Cons themselves are such an upgrade too. They're bigger, and that's all I need. I don't have massive hands. In fact, I think I have moderately tiny hands for a man. But the Joy-Con ones were just too small. The new ones are great. It's a weird thing to like about the controller, but the ZR and ZL buttons are so much nicer too. They're bigger and wider. And every click of the buttons is just so clicky. I love it. One small complaint about them though, my Y button for some reason has gotten sticky. Not really sticky to where it stays stuck, but it's like something is between the button and the receptor. I'm a little bummed about this honestly. There's some video on screen showcasing how I have to mash the button for it to register. The Switch 2 dock is very nice. It's really just a plastic shell like the first one, but it feels like an upgrade all the way around. Probably one of my favorite things about Nintendo consoles is how committed they are to backwards compatibility. And the Switch 2 is no exception. It was a surprisingly quick and painless process to transfer all of my save data from the Switch 1 to 2. This Switch 2 did come with Mario Kart World, but I had heard most of the Switch games run so much better on Switch 2, and that was probably one of my leading factors in picking it up right now. And boy has it changed my perception of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Like all other Pokemon games, I picked them up on launch day, and I played them for a while, and I enjoy them. But something about the way it ran on the Switch just really inhibited my playthrough. It was fun, but just a little choppy in too many places. On the Switch 2, it runs amazingly. Hardly ever any slowdown, whether in handheld or docked mode. Should a game like this have run as poorly as it did on the first Switch? Probably not. But that's not the point of today's video. I genuinely think I've doubled my playtime on Violet on the new console. It helped that there was a new event going on with the Shiny Ruins of Legend or whatever they're called, but that's probably only part of it. The real draw was shiny hunting. There's so many Pokemon on screen now that spawn. Like, so many. Viridian Forest in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, I think that capped out at like 12, and even then it was too much. There are a billion on screen. Between outbreaks, even ones not part of the events, and sandwiches, I'm genuinely getting 2 shinies a day minimum. Does that make shinies less valuable? Not even a little bit. Different colors make brain go burr. It just feels like it runs faster in raids with other people too. I can always tell when I think someone joins a raid from the first Switch because there's always a 10-second loading time after all the Pokemon are sent out and you're ready for battle. There's not a delay at all like this if everyone's on the Switch 2, but that could just be network connectivity issues. And other Switch 1 games work great, just nothing that's as incredibly apparent as it was in Scarlet and Violet. Legends Arceus is great. It was actually pretty optimized for the Switch, but it feels like it's taking advantage of the faster horsepower in all the places that it can. The same goes for Smash. Smash was honestly the shining example of how good the Switch could run in general, even online. And everything is still the same on Switch 2. It'll be interesting to know if there are going to be any restrictions in online tournaments or leagues limiting you and your opponent to Switch 1s instead of someone having a Switch 2. And the new game bundled with the Switch 2, Mario Kart World, is fine. I don't really care for it. Truthfully, nothing about this game makes me want to play it. I played for about 2 to 3 hours one day, and it's just fine. It's really very fundamentally different from traditional Mario Kart. The tracks are so much wider. It feels like taking the straight shot through the course is not really the optimal strategy. Grinding on rails seems to be the go-to tactic, but this goes against almost everything you're trained to do in Mario Kart. Don't run into walls. But here, you've got to do that to take advantage of these rails. And not many, at least on the tracks I raced on, have rails in the middle of the track. I'll spend most of my time going straight down the track. I see a rail to my left and right, and I think, oh, I could have used that. But I'm not used to going near the walls. I think that's the difference in the boost poles from Mario Kart 8. They were in the middle of the tracks, where they were easily accessible, and even if they weren't the optimal path, they still weren't out of the way. The open world concept of Mario Kart World is just fine, too. I don't really care about it. I'm really trying not to be negative. It's a neat idea, but I don't care about it at all. I feel like if this had come out on GameCube, it would have taken the world by storm. But on the Switch 2, it's just gonna be that feature that was in that one game. Maybe I've not played it far enough to really get into the game, which is entirely possible, but nothing about it has just grabbed me the way other games have in the past. And if you've spent any time on this channel ever before, you know that I'm a massive fan of Crash Team Racing and Diddy Kong Racing, which had the open world adventure maps. It's not a Mario Kart thing here. I just don't know what it is. I think it's great that they went out of their way to do something unique with Mario Kart World. It could have just been a sequel to Mario Kart 8, and that's what it would have been graded on. At least they tried something. It just strikes out for me. It might be exactly what you want, though. I'm a big fan of my Switch 2 so far. It's just games that came out on the first Switch that have me hooked, though. Legends ZA will keep me on board for a while, I'm sure, and when I finally get a chance to pick up DK Bonanza, I'm sure that will raise my opinion of the console even more. I'm just gonna be waiting for that big new game to make people all in on the Switch 2. Right now, though, definitely a worthy addition to your console library if you want, and if you don't, then don't, I guess. I don't know. Thanks for watching today. I've got some big ideas in the works. It's just a matter of if they actually happen. But it only took me a few months to make a new video this time, as opposed to over a year. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all the normal stuff. And until next time, see you later!